Hello, we would like to introduce our paper, Monocular Differentiable Rendering for Self-Supervised 3D Object Detection. This is a joint research between Preferred Networks, Toyota Research Institute, and Toyota Research Institute Advanced Development. In this work, we aim to tackle the problem of labeling the 3D dataset within autonomous driving. Different from 2D image annotation, 3D dataset annotation has significant difficulties. Expensive equipment such as high-precision, low-latency LiDAR is essential. Also, it consumes more time to annotate a single object in 3D by human labor. It results in high costs to create annotated 3D dataset in the wild. To overcome this problem, we propose a self-supervised optimization pipeline for monocular 3D object estimation via analysis by synthesis over object pose, metric dimensions, shape, and texture. Starting from a 2D instance mass detection, we feed the latent variables into our decoder network and use differentiable rendering to obtain 2D projections. We use various render and compare losses over multiple quantities for comparative analysis and backpropagate error. We initiate our pipeline with 3 variables for location, dimension, and rotation using uniform distribution. While we don't limit the location and rotation variables ranges, we regress the object's dimension as a deviation from the statistics in the metric scale. 2 other input variables are the latent vectors for shape and texture. They are fed to a mesh decoder to obtain unit scale mesh and texture for each object. As a next step, we rotate, scale, and place the mesh object by using location, dimension, and rotation variables and render differentiably to obtain RGB, depth, bounding box, and instance silhouette images. We compare each rendering output with the result of the pretrained instance segmentation and prediction networks, as well as image itself to create the loss and to optimize pipeline. Differentiable rasterization allows us to establish losses between renderings and an input image known as render and compare loss. To leverage image information as much as possible, we reconstruct texture along with the mesh. To encode a variety of object shapes and appearances, we employ a generative model that is able to produce a mesh and a texture map for given inputs. As a generative model, we adopt autoencoder architecture where we supply images of objects and train network to learn how to decode a latent vector into 3D shape and texture. As we would like our generator to produce plausible shapes and texture for any latent vector supplied to decoder, we project the latent vectors onto a hypersphere to ensure the smooth traverse without collapsing. The encoder-decoder architecture is trained using synthetic views of 3D car models taken from the ShapeNet dataset. During the optimization, we discard the encoder part and only use the decoder part of the trained network, and we optimize the latent vector. To enhance 2D information, we employ Mascar CNN 152, pre-trained on Muskoka datasets to extract each object's instance segmentation. For the depth prediction, we employ PACNets to ensure the metric scale on the predicted depth. Considering that PACNet is a self-supervised metric scale depth estimation network, Mascar CNN is pre-trained with publicly available Muskoka dataset, and ShapeNet is a synthetic dataset. Our method ensures virtually zero-cost annotation. In our approach, we employ 4 different losses. The first one is the pixel-wise L1 loss between predicted object instance segmentation and rendered object silhouette. The second one is the IOU loss between the predicted and rendered object's bounding box. The third one is the pixel-wise L1 loss between predicted and rendered object depth. The last one is the pixel-wise L1 loss between original image and rendered image. Estimating rotation with render and compare approaches can easily lead to a local minima due to nonlinear objectives and visual ambiguities. To deal with this issue, we sample 4 different variations of current angle by adding or subtracting predefined angles, as well as a random angle sampled from a uniform distribution to render 5 images by freezing each variable but the rotation. Then, by using the pretrained VGG network, we generate latent vectors for each rendering and one for the object cropped from the original image. By comparing the L1 loss between the latent vectors, we choose the optimum rotation among 5 candidates and update the rotation variable with the selected candidate. The method achieves comparable accuracy to the state-of-the-art methods that rely on 3D supervision or LiDAR observation for monocular 3D object detection. We would like to present the optimization of a single image by using our pipeline. We would also like to present the qualitative results over a video sequence. During the creation of the video, we did not integrate temporal information and optimized each frame independently. In conclusion, our method enhances and regularizes noisy monocular object depth predictions by leveraging geometric object priors knowledge. It also removes the necessity of the 3D sensing or ground truth information, along with virtually zero-cost 3D object annotation. Thank you.